This was actually crazy. This news. So I don't know if you guys saw this. Warner Brothers will now allow the filmmakers of Coyote versus ACME to shop their film to other potential buyers. So I don't know if you saw this. Coyote versus ACME is the first Looney Tunes movie in a while to have like a major budget. Looney Tunes movies actually perform pretty well, but this was a big, expensive film. It was a $70 million movie. $70 million movie. So now this is the second film in 2 years that Warner Brothers has done this with, right? Batgirl, they tanked Batgirl, and everyone's assumption was that Batgirl was so noxiously bad that Warner Brothers was like, we just got to take the loss. Well, wait a minute. Now, wait a fucking minute, because now they do it again. They do it again for a $30 million write-off, right? And they do it after test audiences said that this movie is great. They showed this to test audiences, and test audiences were like, oh, this movie is awesome. We love it. It's great. So like the expectations were that this movie was good. It was like the first real Looney Tunes movie in forever. And everybody was on board for it. And Warner Brothers crushed it for a tax write-off. But this is now very big. Instead of just crushing it, they're allowing the filmmakers who have been working on this movie for not 1, not 2, but 3 years. This movie has been in production for 3 years. They are actually allowing them to shop this movie out. Now, the problem is, I bet that whoever buys this movie is going to have to beat a $30 million price tag, because that is the estimated tax write-off for this film. So I bet whoever buys it's going to have to offer like $40 million, which, man, oh man, oh man, that's a big price tag.
Oh, yeah. That's for
Daddy, thank you so much.
If they're able to write the movie off, it should be public domain.
I think if they ever release the movie or make money from it, then it negates the tax write-off as a total loss. I think that's part of the busting it out for a total write-off, is you can never show it, which is why Batgirl will never see the light of day. Like, Batgirl exists finished somewhere. There is a finished canon Batman movie that now, with this coming out, might not be that bad, right? All of a sudden, now you go, wait a minute. If they're busting out a good movie, maybe Batgirl wasn't that fucking bad. Maybe it could have been saved, right? Like, all of a sudden you start to ask, what if? Especially with this cast. Are you shitting me? We had Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne and Brendan Fraser in the movie with J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. Well, hold on, wait a minute. That's pretty wild to me. There's a lot of entertainment news that I just kind of am like, man, this is actually a pretty big story. Ain't no way it was that bad. At first, I'm going to be honest, I was like, oh, it had to be horrible. It had to be a disaster. But now that they burnt out Coyote versus ACME, which test audiences were like, yeah, now all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe Warner Brothers is just in such a fucking tailspin that they're like, fuck it, burn it out before we even take it to screen. Also, it's a question of like, if the movie cost $70 million, then isn't $30 to $40 million still a good price for it? That is if you think you're going to make more money. It doesn't matter if something cost something. If it doesn't have that value, then it's a bad price for it, right? Let me put it this way. If they made the movie for $70 million and you pay $20 million for it, but it only makes $5 million in the box office, then it doesn't matter if you got a great fucking deal on it. Okay, this is interesting. World of Real posted an article that says, you know what? Fuck it. At this point, I saw Batgirl last year. It was solid. A 6 out of 10. I mean, that's interesting, right? Like 6 out of 10 is nothing to shout home about, but is it worth blowing out the film and burning it down and never even allowing audiences to have a chance to watch it? Plenty of only decent movies make money. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they open the vault on that one and see if they can sell it. Behind the scenes of the Looney Tune movie. Oh, this is cool. So they were doing it in real life and they were doing it practical. And these are all practical effects where, here, I'll show you this part again, where like Wile E. Coyote, like that's Wile E. Coyote falling, knocking down a board. Dude, can you fucking imagine spending 3 years on an art project and the studio just kills it? Like, after you show it to people and they're like, we really like this. And you're like, yes. And then the studio's like, nah, fuck it. That's crazy. There were also reports that people were canceling their meetings with Warner Brothers after they announced they were canning Coyote versus ACME. Yeah. I mean, if you're a filmmaker or you're a director or you're a DP and you are going to commit a year or more of your life to a project, and then there's a potential that Warner Brothers could just go, nah, fuck it. We'll burn it out for insurance money. I wouldn't want to work with them. There are so many barriers to filmmaking. There are so many barriers to filmmaking.
Studios sometimes should
right?
not be in charge
So
of
many
movies
barriers to
now.
filmmaking. I know personally. And if I took the
That's
time
too
to
often
make a
it's the
film
way
that
they
people liked, and then even after that, the studio was like, fuck it, I would be livid. Here's the story. After news of Warner Brothers shelving Coyote vs. ACME broke, several filmmakers instructed their reps to cancel meetings they had on their books with Warner Brothers. Wow.